Now let's go straight into the risks, because in payments the downside is rarely about demand disappearing. The real risks are competition, execution, and whether the company can defend growth and margins at the same time. The biggest risk in 2026 is competitive pressure and pricing compression. Payments is a crowded market with aggressive competitors, and pricing pressure tends to be relentless. If rivals undercut pricing or offer better bundled software, GPN can face margin squeeze or higher churn. Closely connected is execution risk. Global payments has multiple moving parts: integrations, platform simplification, product bundling, and cost initiatives. If execution is messy, the market can stay skeptical even if reported numbers look decent. In a prove-it stock, execution is everything. Another key risk is organic growth slowdown or merchant churn. If merchants leave or if net new wins slow down, revenue growth can decelerate quickly. And because payments businesses are valued on durable recurring volumes, growth disappointments usually hit the multiple hard. Macro sensitivity also matters. A meaningful portion of volume is tied to small and mid-sized businesses. If the economy slows, transaction volumes can weaken, and higher business stress can increase churn. Even a stable company can see lower growth simply due to the macro environment. Then there are structural risks, regulatory and compliance, plus cybersecurity and fraud. Payments is a highly regulated industry, and one major incident, a breach, an outage, or fraud issues, can create costs, reputational damage, and lost clients. Finally, investors watch leverage. If debt is meaningful, higher rates increase interest costs and reduce flexibility for buybacks or investment, which can limit EPS growth. GPN's risks in 2026 are mainly about competition and execution, defending margins while maintaining organic growth in a fast-moving payments market. Global payments is one of those payment stocks where the upside is less about payments will exist, and more about whether the company can rebuild confidence and close the valuation gap versus peers. The biggest opportunity is multiple re-rating. If GPN delivers steady organic growth and cleaner execution, the stock can re-rate higher simply because it currently trades with a prove-it discount. In payments, sentiment matters. When investors regain confidence, valuation multiples can expand quickly. A second major opportunity is margin expansion through cost cuts and operational simplification. Payments is a scale business. If management improves efficiency, simplifies the operating structure, and reduces integration complexity, EBITDA margins can expand, and that tends to drive outsized EPS growth even when revenue growth is only mid-single digits. Third is organic revenue acceleration through software and integrated payments. The most valuable payment businesses are the ones that bundle payment processing with merchant software. If GPN increases penetration of integrated solutions, it can improve retention, increase take rates, and reduce churn, creating more durable growth. There's also a tailwind from omni-channel and e-commerce. As commerce continues to digitize, merchants need unified solutions across online and in-store. If GPN executes well, it can capture that shift and strengthen customer relationships. Capital allocation is another lever. With strong cash generation, buybacks and deleveraging can support per-share earnings growth, and that can make the stock attractive even if top-line growth is not explosive. Finally, there's a relative value angle. If execution improves, the valuation gap versus peers can narrow, and that alone can create meaningful upside without requiring heroic assumptions. GPN's upside is about confidence and execution. Stabilize growth, expand margins, return cash to shareholders, and the stock can re-rate as the prove-it discount fades. Now let's connect the story to valuation and key metrics, because GPN is priced like a company the market doesn't fully trust, even though the payments business model can be very attractive. Start with the long-term scorecard. The 10-year annual return is about 3% with reinvested dividends. That's positive but not impressive for a payment stock, and it helps explain why the market has moved this into a prove-it category. On valuation, the stock looks discounted. APE of around 11 and EV to EBITDA near 7.7 times are low for the payments sector, where higher confidence names can trade at meaningfully higher multiples when growth is consistent. Cash flow valuation is also compressed. Price to free cash flow around 7.2 suggests investors are paying a relatively low price for GPN's cash generation. That creates upside if cash flows stay durable, but it also reflects skepticism about growth and competitive pressure. Leverage is meaningful but manageable. Net debt to EBITDA around 3.3 times reduces flexibility somewhat, which is why execution matters. The company needs stable operations to keep deleveraging and support buybacks. Profitability shows the business model's strengths and weaknesses. Gross margin is very high at about 49%, typical for payments economics. But net income margin is only around 3.8%, reflecting heavy operating costs and competitive spend. Finally, ROIC at 8.21% is decent, but not elite. And that's exactly why the market wants proof that simplification and margin initiatives can improve returns. GPN looks cheap on earnings and cash flow, but the re-rating depends on stable organic growth and clear margin progress in a highly competitive payments market. Now let's look at analyst sentiment, and it's neutral overall but slightly positive. GPN has 1 strong buy and 11 buys, while the majority, 18 analysts, rate it hold. On the bearish side, there's 1 sell and 1 strong sell. So the street isn't bearish, but it's also not fully convinced yet. This distribution usually signals a prove-it stock. Bulls are looking at the discounted valuation and expecting a recovery in sentiment if execution improves. The hold ratings reflect ongoing concerns around competition, growth consistency, and whether margin initiatives deliver real results. So the takeaway is, analysts see upside potential at this valuation, but most are waiting for cleaner execution before turning more aggressively bullish. And that's it for today's quick breakdown. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really supports the channel and helps more investors find these videos. Just a quick reminder, this video is for educational purposes only and it's not financial advice.